Amit ji, aap bhi. YouTube. Just can you open in your phone? Yeah, the app, YouTube. And then type EEPC India. You got it? Okay. So you can share the live link. You will see enhancing steel and engineering export session, which is about to start. You can share that with your colleagues who are not able to make it today so that they can watch it remotely wherever they are. Sarita ji, can somebody...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention? We have some interesting sessions covering a huge section of topics. Please visit these seminars starting from Tuesday. Startup Field Conference Hall.
So I believe EPC India, everybody have visited the YouTube. Now type Metalogic PMS on your YouTube. Metalogic, Metalogic, Metalogic PMS. P stands for projects, M management, S for services. So you will find our channel there, and there are hundreds of steel and mining videos. So for your references, you can watch the interviews, technical, sessions, programs. There are several videos, Metalogic PMS on your YouTube. You can subscribe to it, and whenever we have any live session, you will get the notification. So how many of you are visitors? You can raise your hands. Visitors, okay. How many are exhibitors? Lovely, lovely. And majority are from steel or different industries, components. Steel, I believe majority of you are from the steel, right? Other than steel, we have anyone? Other than steel, you can raise your hand. All are from steel. You have non-steel. What exactly? I'll give you the mic.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Shrey Panchal, and we are actually into manufacturing of air compressors, and my company name is Zen Airtech Private Limited. We are from Ahmedabad. That's it? Yes, from Ahmedabad. Thank you.
Anyone else like to introduce yourself? That will help you to network. Mr. .com, Cellcom. Yeah, why don't you just come here? Give a little introduction about your company. Yeah. So he has come all the way from Bulandshahr, Noida, UP. Just tell everybody about yourself.
Thank you, Monica. Hi, one and all. This is Dhiresh. I have come from Sikandrabad, so I am from Cellcom Teleservices Private Limited. We are basically into all type of galvanized steel structures, and electroforged grating is our main product. So I'll pass on my product list and cards to everybody, so you can have a look. Thank you so much.
He is a fabricator. So now we have Mr. Pankaj Chadda also. Pallavi ji, he is here. Namaskar, good afternoon. Wishing you a very pleasant day. Ano Bhadra Kartavo Yantu Vishvata. Let noble thoughts come to me from all directions. Our honorable dignitaries, very senior speakers, delegates, participants, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, I am Monica Bachchan, founder and CEO of Meteorologic Projects Management Services. We are based out in Delhi, NCR, and welcoming you all at EEPC India's 3 days Grand Trade Show on International Engineering Sourcing Show program, having multiple parallel sessions going on, and this is one of the sessions on enhancing steel and engineering exports from India. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to celebrate Azadi Ke Amrit Mahotsav, our collective vision and mission is leading us to explore new ideas on enhancing steel and engineering exports, Make in India for the World, a session organized by Meteorologic under the guidance of EEPC India. We would like to thank Ministry of Commerce and Industries for extending their support to International Engineering Sourcing Show and Tata Steel Limited for sponsoring the session. I would like to call upon our speakers and guests, starting with Mr. Pankaj Chadda. Sir. Mr. Pankaj Chadda is the Vice Chairman, EEPC India. I would like to call upon Mr. Sachin Malani. Mr. Sachin Malani is a Deputy Regional Chairman, Southern Region, EPC India. And now I would like to call upon our esteemed panelists, starting from Mr. Amit Kumar, CSM Branded Products, Tata Steel Limited. Mr. C.H. Murali Krishnan, Regional Sales Head, South, AMNS India. Mr. Ganti KSS Bhargav, AGM Sales and Export, Arja Steel. And Mr. Venikat Raman, and he's from again sales from Arjas Steel, Chennai. Mr. N.K. Sharma, Regional Business Manager, Sale. Please take your seats. A little overview I like to share about steel and engineering exports, and then we can have panelists one by one to deliberate on their thoughts. In 2021, the value of global trade reached a record level of $28.5 trillion, with the growth centered majorly around metal and machinery sectors. India's engineering exports during So I'm glad that you all have joined for the seminar. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. India's engineering Okay. Thank you, ma'am. India's engineering export during April to February 2021-22 stood at $101.7 billion, registered 49.9% growth over the same period last year. In April to February 22, the share of engineering in total merchandise export rose to 26.94%. Okay, I'll make it very quick now. The major export produced are nuclear reactors, industrial boilers, parts, electric machine and equipment, IC engines and part pumps of all types, air condition and refrigerator, machinery and parts, industrial furnace, water heaters, and compressors, industrial machinery for dairy, agriculture, food processing, etc. The top destination for India engineering exports are US, UAE, and China. There is a huge potential in the metal and engineering sector going ahead. Apart from exporting over $100 billion worth goods, these sectors need to work in the domestic market to substitute imports worth over $130 billion. Global engineering goods trade is also very lucrative opportunity for Indian exporters, keeping in view India's competitive edge, low cost in production and availability of skilled manpower. PLI scheme announced by the government in recent years in auto component, battery storage, steel and other sector will give a huge boost to the domestic production of engineering goods within the country and enrich the vision of Make in India and Make in India for the world in the coming years. Ladies and gentlemen, with this I would like to invite Mr. Pankaj Chadda, Senior Vice Chairman, EPC India, to present a welcome note. Thank you.
My thanks to my fellow panelists who are here from some of the leading steel companies in India, from Arja Steel, from Tata Steel, from ArcelorMittal, from SAIL, and my fellow from EPC India. A very good afternoon to all of you, and it's really a pleasure talking on this subject. I also happen to be the convener of the Iron and Steel panel from EPC, so it's a subject in which I am supposed to be the market leader in EPC on this item. And steel is, this panel happens to be chapter 72 and 73. And steel is one of the most important and multifunctional and most important export product out of India. Out of the $112 billion that EPC does, close to about 30% comes out of the iron and steel panel, which is chapter 72 and 73. So therefore, it's the largest panel of export out of India, right? And I would say this year has not been that good a year for export, primarily because in May, the government imposed an export duty of 25%. And as a result of which, for a period of May to November, a period of 6 months, there was an export duty on export of steel, which made our product uncompetitive as far as the export market is concerned. But now that duty has been removed. So I would say, personally speaking, we feel that this is a very, very good year for steel exports now. I am given to understand that last year, due to the COVID and all, our steel exports was something like 17 to 18 million tons. But this year, I think we are going to close from when we had a meeting with the minister, I think the steel manufacturer said that we would close somewhere close to 9 million. We have already done 6 and we should close at around 9 million. So we are basically a shortfall of 9 million tons this year, primarily because I would put it purely because of the export duty. And this shortfall is actually exactly the shortfall that EPC would have vis-a-vis last year's exports of 112 billion. And this year we will touch around 107 billion. So we are 5 billion short in our export figures of engineering. And fortunately or unfortunately, the entire 5 billion happens to be from the steel sector. So we'll have to buck up next year, because otherwise if you don't buck up, engineering doesn't buck up. And actually, it was a very uncanny situation when the minister, when he had this final presentation, where are we at? So he says, at least when we started last year, engineering was 27% of all India exports, right? He says, at least keep to 25%. So I looked at JSW and I said, yaar, inko pucho na yaar. They are the guys who are going to do it. We can't do anything besides the fact that they have to push the thing. So I feel I'll put it to my fellow steel panelists. I think 18 million tons looks a very tall figure, but 15 million tons is not a bad figure next year. And I would expect you all to at least hit 15 million at least, right? So this would be my request. Prices of steel, I think it has its ups, it has its downs. Both sides are good. When the prices are high, the steel majors are riding a brilliant horse. You've seen the figures the previous years. So when the steel prices are very high, the engineering guys are crying because they say, the price of steel is so high, how are we competitive as far as engineering is concerned? But after all, at the end of the day, steel is also part of engineering only. So either way, we got to have a fine balance between the steel price and the engineering export. I would only request one thing, that currently with the factor that the energy prices are at all-time high in Europe, we definitely have a huge potential to increase our exports to the EU nations, especially because most of the EU units are, because of the energy issue, are running at 50% capacity. If you talk to all the steel makers, you talk to Saarstahl, you talk to any of the European ones, Krupp, they are all shut one or two of their blast furnaces. If they had 3, they are shut 1. If they had 4, they are shut 2 blast furnaces and running only 2. So they are running at 50% purely because of the high energy cost and the unavailability of energy also. In line of that, so therefore what is happening is that there is a pent-up demand. There is a demand available in Europe, which we feel India should take rather than China should take that demand. And if we do a fairly decent job, I think we can get that part of the demand. As far as support from government is concerned, Chapter 72, 73 road tab, we did give all the data. And only thing was that the government felt that the steel majors were making so much money, they didn't need that 2 or 3%. And so steel got knocked off. Finally, maybe a month or 2 back, I still had a meeting with DGFT as well as to find out, is there a possibility that road tab can come in for steel? He said a very simple situation. He says, I have a X amount of budget, right? The budget is this. You all have given the data. I know what is your requirement as far as the road tab is concerned. But the question is, whom should I cut to include you in the subject? I said, that's not my subject matter. I can't ask you to cut the road tab on textile or on something and give it to steel. वो तो ठीक नहीं हो सकता. So he says, then the question is, finance ministry is giving me an X budget. With that X budget, I have to work within the parameter. So in view of that, I don't think road tab currently is on the anvil as far as steel is concerned. But we'll keep pushing a case. Since I'm your panel convener, I have to push it. I have no option. But the factor is that until the budget increases of allocation for road tab, the chance of Chapter 72, which is steel, getting road tab looks highly unlikely at this point of time. Though we will keep trying. The second, the only thing that we are trying now, which I even discussed with the Special Secretary, and which we are having a great amount of discussion, is that there is tariff-related quotas for EU. And we all know that for steel, there are 21 items of steel which are listed in the tariff quotas for EU. It's subject to some quantity safeguards. So we are trying to get the TRQ removed. That is the thing that done. We have also, since EPC put it up to Ministry of Commerce has also written to the WTO also that at least the tariff-related quotas with connected to steel for India may be kept in abeyance. Because India and EU are already in an FTA talk. So to create a sort of a conducive environment to talk FTA, at least you must give us something for us to talk about. So that section is still going on. We are hopeful that that possibly may happen. If that happens, we'll have a situation where the TRQs may come off and steel exports from India to EU would multiply because the quota gets over on day one. The rest I leave it to all my friends. They are learned friends who would like to give them enough food to think about, and let's see how best we can take this forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Pankaj Chadha. Now we will have Mr. Ganti KSS Bhargav AGM Sales Export Arja Steel and Mr. Venkat Raman to give a presentation. Presentation, please.
Come. Yeah, good afternoon, my friends and everyone. Myself, Bhargav, taking care of export sales in Arjas, and he is my colleague, he is Mr. Venkat Raman. He is taking care of Chennai sales. So just, okay. This is our mission to be the leading special steel producers in India and benchmark supply chain solutions to our customers. This is our main mission. And these are our main values, be the customer's choice, safety, employee engagement, results orientation, integrity, sustainable practices. All these things we practice, and we inform our vendors as well as suppliers and the customers. We follow strictly on all these values. Now coming to the financials, that what we have done it in the FY22, we have 2 manufacturing facilities, and we have a 900 plus acres of land, both plants put together, that I'm talking about. And one is in Andhra Pradesh, other one is in Mandi Govindgarh, that is in Punjab. And we have gotten a positive outlook CRISIL rating, A positive. And this we are talking about on the Arja Steel presences, north and south. And this is that Arja Steel Tadipatri, that is located 60 kilometers away from Anantapur, 120 kilometers just away from Kia Motors, that what they have come up, 120 kilometers. That main is raw materials is like a coking coal and iron ore. Coking coal we are bringing all importing from Australia and other places, and that is coming through Krishnapatnam port, that is 280 kilometers away from our plant. And iron ore is 180, that is Karnataka, Ballari and Sandur region, 180 kilometers away from our plant. And now Arjas Modern Steel, that is 60 kilometers from Chandigarh airport. And that is a electric arc furnace that recently we have taken over this plant in 2022 from Modern Steel. That earlier plant is Modern Steel, that we have taken over this plant. Now it has become Arjas Modern Steel plant. That capacity is 150,000 tons annually. And this is the thing that we are talking about. On Tadipatri plant capacity is 4 lakh tons and Mandi Govindgarh is 1.5 lakh tons. And Tadipatri plant is iron ore and coal base, and Mandi Govindgarh is arc furnace route to scrap. And that Tadipatri plant that we are making main profiles is rounds, RCS and hexagons. And Mandi Govindgarh plant, further we have an ingot facility also available, and stainless steel also we can make it. So we are, our profiles is rounds, RCS, hexagons, bright bars and heat treated bars. These are the materials what we make it steel into, that automotive, wind energy, railways and other places, that what the materials goes into. No.
So how are we exporting, and we are visionary about the export? Regarding the steel manufacturing and the capacity for export from India, and we are overall in the global sector, we know China have a mammoth capacity of export compared to the rest of the world. So due to the recent whatever to de-risk themselves from the Chinese and all these exports, the rest of the world is looking for a China plus one strategy, and they are looking for an alternative. So this all we know, and India is having the beautiful opportunity to provide a new export oriented business due to these issues. So the world has seen an emergeable export global player next to China is India. So India is having a dramatically changed due to the last 10 years. We have taken very good policy changes from the government, and infrastructure developments and seaport upgradation taken place in India. So government is taking a lot of initiatives to promote exports, such as providing of duty drawback or a refund of duties, the PLI linked schemes for exports, and any specialty steel to boost production from exports from India. Indian steel mills are nowadays heavily investing in capacity expansion, like our other counterparts, like competitors like Japan and China. And we wish to add raw materials and export steel to other value-added items, just not only with pig iron and iron billets. We are looking for special value addition products also. So due to the recent war scenario with Russia and Ukraine, the Indian steel mills have exported almost close to 1.4 million tons in the month of March and April 2022. So moreover, post the US sanctions with Russia and the leading Chinese these things all having some problems, this Indian steel companies can capture the market share in Europe, Middle East and etc. with long-term focus. Apart from this, the government is providing the FTA, free trade agreements, providing opportunity for steel makers to explore the markets opened up by the FTA. The countries open are Australia, South Korea and UK, etc.
So this is the export strategy that what we follow in Arjas that presently. So we have a relationship with the OEMs, that what we have a relationship with the OEMs with their business with them. And we are approaching their counterparts, automakers in other countries, and that is the one way. And we are competing with the China, Turkey, and Egypt, and directly doing with the business with the getting the opportunities export market. And the indirect exports, that what we are doing, it is auto component manufacturers, whoever is there in India. We are knocking the doors of those because we are already knowing the persons, OEMs, automakers, Tier 1, everybody we knows. So we are touching them and exporting to that, expand our overseas market to that auto components, this thing. And this is the earlier that what we have done the exports, that see, earlier we have done it, the exports, I think you can see in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 19, 20, we have done the exports in huge. That billets we have exported just to close the EPCG licenses, what we have taken it. That CapExes, what we have put up, we have taken the EPCG licenses. So we have done a lot of exports of billets and other things. Now we are concentrating more on value-added steel exports. So we have stopped exporting billets and we are concentrating more on value-added steel products. So we are planning for next year. So let's say now that production is roughly around 25,000 tons, 28,000 tons. We are planning to do it at least of a 10% to 15%. We are planning to do it in next year. That is our target to do it. This is the challenges that we are going to do it. Everybody knows that logistics challenges that everywhere we are facing. The last 3 more months we have seen in Mundra port, all the containers, import containers have come and stuck there, and everybody has faced a problem of 1 month. The containers have lied there, and we have got the materials after 2 months. After taking the shipments itself, it took 3 months. So all these things, we have paid the money and everything. We have opened it. They have got the money. Some people have got it in CAD, everything. But we have paid in advance. But only thing is, these are the small challenges. Like in the special steel sectors, always what will happen, like you see, that approval process takes a lot of time. Like if it is Japan or Thailand or something, somewhere we want to do the exports. So the approval process, like PPAP samples, trial lots, all those things takes around 1 year of time or something. It takes. It has a period of time is required. So those type of things is there. So just nowadays everybody is asking for a just-in-time delivery. Just-in-time delivery. Everybody is asking for a just-in-time delivery. For that, local infrastructure is required for that. So these are the small challenges is there. Apart from that, CO2 emission is everything is coming. Government is asking for a green steel and everything. So those type of things also we are looking of because we have a modern steel plant that what we have taken up. So there we are planning to start with that. So slowly that also we want to be the part of this thing. This is the small presentation from our Arjas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bhargav and Mr. Venkatraman. So now we are starting the panel discussion. In this session, we will be discussing some of the very important points, starting from India's engineering export and domestic manufacturing scenario, then the global demand for Indian steel and engineering goods, projected domestic and global demand for India engineering good by 2030-31, challenges faced by the exporters of steel and engineering goods in terms of quality, duty, taxes, trade barriers, geopolitical scenario, need for international trade-friendly policies, easing the foreign trade policy, trade agreement protectionism, and finding new markets on the global platform. I will start with Mr. Amit Kumar Singh, CSM Branded Product Tata Steel Limited, to share his thoughts first.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session. Thank you for making it to the session. So, the topic of today is, enhancing steel and engineering exports from India and making India for the world. Before, Mr. Chadha and Ms. Bachchan also, in their introductory speech, they outlined the importance of engineering goods in India's GDP and importance of engineering goods in overall India's exports. So just to share with you the ballpark number, the engineering goods as such is almost 3% of our GDP. And as you mentioned, sir, today it is accounting for almost 25% of India's exports. 27%, yeah, 27% exactly. And Steel Minister is asking you to at least maintain 25%, and yeah, so yeah. So a couple of important facets, as you also mentioned. The two segments, when I saw through the data, the two segments of the export composition, almost more than 75% is comprised of capital goods and steel, iron and steel. So which means no wonder that all of our steel companies and steel manufacturers have a large role to play in this. And as far as geographical distribution is concerned, in fact, one of the top geographies where this engineering goods exports is currently happening is United States. And Middle East, and of course, a large part of exports is also happening to European Union. So you can just imagine the amount of quality standards our exporters are maintaining, and this is something which all of us should be proud of. But again, while supply of material as far as steel is concerned is an important factor, it is also an onus on us that we help the MSMEs or the companies who are flag bearers of this export in maintaining such quality standards and supporting them in ensuring that those quality standards are maintained so that the export goes through quite flawlessly. Now coming to what is the role which Tata Steel, I would like to delve deeper on, share with you some of the facets on where Tata Steel is supporting this whole initiative of enhancing steel and engineering exports from India. Apart from being direct exporters of steel, which has seen ups and downs due to export duties imposed last year, we are, in a way, we have tried to focus on supporting majority of these companies and primarily the MSMEs into building the capacities, into supporting them with all kind of raw material which we can provide from our side. We had envisaged this, that there is a need to focus on MSMEs, and keeping this factor in mind, Tata Steel almost 7 to 8 years back, we as an organization, the entire marketing and sales function, we divided or we distributed our marketing and sales function primarily in 3 verticals, the flat product verticals. We divided in 3 verticals. And one of the important vertical, which I am representing today, has a large focus on MSME, and we called it as a branded product vertical. So branded product vertical, the main focus of branded product vertical was to support customers who are involved in this engineering and capital goods exports, and primarily MSMEs who are doing business in India and of course business outside as well. So this is one such in MSMEs, just to give them such kind of attention and importance. Inside Tata Steel, we call them as a very special name. We call them as emerging corporate accounts. So we don't understand. In fact, some of the youngsters who are sitting, who are also my colleagues, they would probably find it difficult to ring a bell. What is MSE? They would understand MSME as emerging ECAs. We call them ECAs. And that is the impact which we want to create within the organization. That's the ECA. And currently, just to tell you, by last month's numbers, almost we are serving across all products 10,000 ECAs or MSMEs on a monthly basis. That is our touch point. I think 10,000 customers directly through our channel partners we are serving in a month. So that's amount of spread we have in supporting the MSMEs or ECAs as we call it. Now for the next intervention which we did, so for us, ECA or MSME is not one particular segment or a sector or a community. We have done a lot of deep diving, and now an MSME for us means more than 80 to 85 micro segments. So we have divided them into almost 80 to 85 number of micro segments, and there are specialized products and special focus, differentiated, attention which is given to all these micro segments. And when we say micro segments, we mean, agriculture, engineered building, shipbuilding, panel, and many such kind of, micro segments which are part of, Tata Steel MSME sector. Again, so the next intervention which we did was, now for, again, bringing the focus on product and supplies. When we are supplying a product to MSME, we don't call it as a HR product or a hot roll product or a cold roll product or a coated product. We have named them. If we are supplying HR to an MSME, we know inside our organization and for outside, it's an Astrum. So there is a certain focus which is given when we are supplying this material to MSME. We call it as an Astrum brand. If we are supplying a cold roll coil to an MSME, we call it as a Steelium brand. We don't call it as CR. Now, and if we are supplying a coated product, we call it as a Galvano. Now, within these three sub-brands, there are multiple levels of sub-brands which are basically differentiated products, primarily aimed at, meeting different kind of requirements. So this was another thing. Having seen, government's initiative, I think we have also focused on large number of value value engineering initiatives to support MSMEs. One of the important, problems which MSMEs face is, working capital requirement, for which we have launched a special initiative named as, Urja, in tie-up with, banks and NBFCs, primarily Tata Capital, HDFC, and many other banks. So far, in fact, we are supplying interest or rather collateral-free credit arrangement for our ECA customers. And last year, as per last year numbers itself, we could disburse almost 10 crores of such kind of capital for our customers. Now, the next intervention we have done is that we have given a very dedicated product application engineers who would support our MSMEs whenever they are using steel, and they would guide them as to what is the right product in choosing the right product, as well as for taking care of all development and quality related issues. Beyond that, there are many other things like for engaging with them directly, we have created several number of digital platforms. One of them we call it as e-cafes. This is one such platform wherein our MSME customers or ECA customers can go through that platform of Tata Steel, can see the best practices of steel and technology. And we also host large number of webinars wherein customers can come and participate. So that in order that our MSME customers can have direct visibility with Tata Steel. We have, for the last 4-5 years, we have launched this initiative we call as a Digika. Now customers can directly log their indent and they can see the progress of their orders through this online portal. And this is one such initiative where we want to come closer and closer to our MSME customers. Last but not the least, a couple of quite, I would say, seminal interventions, I would say, which Tata Steel has done in the last 2 to 3 years, or rather I would say in the last 1.5 years, which I think all of you should take note of, those who are, consumers of steel and they are exporting outside India, and for using steel in domestic production as well. One important initiative which Tata Steel has done, we have launched Tata Steel Industrial Consulting. Now, Tata Steel Industrial Consulting is a TSIC, we call it. It's an industrial arm of Tata Steel, wherein our USP is we are saying that since we have gone through and we have done all these activities, so we are basically providing the expertise and know-how to anybody, and any small or any MSME or any ECA account, they can come and have specialized consulting expertise from Tata Steel in the areas of technology, best practices, human resource, organization excellence, and of course there are many such platforms where you can engage in. In Chennai, particularly in South India, in the last 3 to 4 months, we have extended and we have launched a special steel testing facility in collaboration with IIT Chennai. So those of you, in case if you want to get some of your quality testing done or some special support or immediate support of testing and all, so you can walk into our lab in IIT Chennai, and we will provide those support. Of course, it comes with a very, very nominal cost, but again, this initiative is to support our customers. Thank you. So this is all from Tata Steel.
Thank you so much, Amitji. And I would say, yeah, in a while. We will start the Q&A after some time, sir. Yeah. So I would say that Tata always takes several initiatives, and Amitji has come with a bag of goodies full of initiatives and offerings for the industry. And before I go on to the next panelist, I'd like to inform all 3 manufacturers on the stage that we have your distributors also attending the program. So I would just ask you all to just raise the hand who are the distributors of Tata, SAIL and AMNS here. Just raise the hands. Yeah. So your messages are conveyed very nicely. So now I'm going on to the next panelist. We have Mr. C.H. Murali Krishnan, Regional Sales Head, South AMNS India. So, you would like to go on or you want to?
That's fine. Yeah, good afternoon all. So while Amit has covered some part of the steel industry and specific focus on the MSME, I will try to give a little larger picture. India is expected to be the fastest growing economy. So we are, as a country, at a cusp of an opportunity. It's a great economic opportunity. And government of India is making all the efforts to see that this opportunity is fully taken by all of us. So in that direction, just I will try to give my view. Currently, India is the from the GDP perspective is at the 5th position and is likely to get into 3rd position by 2030, surpassing Japan and Germany, and probably only US and China would be ahead of us. So for this, as a manufacturing industry and as a engineering economy, what we are likely to do and what are the opportunities which we have in hand. So that is the perspective which I would just try to cover. So if we look at a manufacturing economy, any heavyweight manufacturing economy like China or Korea, so they are, have a very strong skew towards manufacturing. Close to about 25 to 27% of the GDP is based out of manufacturing, and also have strong export orientation. So currently India is still at 15%, while Chadha Saab has told about that a good amount of it is coming from engineering side. But that is still not good enough for the ambition which we have set for the decade. So we should probably look at how we can accelerate and try to reach 20% of our GDP to be manufacturing based. And in this process, steel would be playing a pivotal role. Steel in specific is very strongly linked to the economic growth of any country. If you look at per capita consumption of steel from the Indian context, it's just about 75 kg, while most of the developed economies are more than 200. So rightly, Steel Ministry with their vision on steel policy in 2017 have put a target of 160 kg per capita consumption to reach by 3031. So in that process, we would be requiring a lot of steel capacity, and likewise a lot of demand which should be coming up parallelly to take that capacity. So while from the steel mill side, efforts are on to take to higher capacities, and probably we would be surpassing 200 million ton by 2030-31. The demand perspective also has to, if the way the economy is accelerating, then probably we should be getting to a consumption of close to about 220 million ton by 3031. So this is going to be an excellent opportunity for all the engineering manufacturers in the process. And from the government policy side, obviously we would be requiring a lot of help on the optimization on the logistics side, and some of the cost optimizations on the raw material, which would actually give this boost. Further, EEPC is doing a commendable job pitching with all the support and policy guidance to boost the engineering exports. But some tangible export incentives probably would help to have the skew shifted more towards the exports. Further, on FTAs, specifically when the FTAs are on the with a developed economy, so there needs to be a word of caution, specifically when we compare some of the FTAs with Korea or Japan. So maybe steel industry is pretty disadvantaged, while we may not have much of opportunity to do exports. There would be a lot of imports which would be coming and competing in the niche steel segments, which take away the opportunity of developing these products indigenously. And coming to some of the new opportunities which are ahead in the process of this development, there are completely new segments which are coming up, like green energy, then semiconductor chips, and EV. So all of this would probably give us a new platform of manufacturing, new product range, and also will have an immense opportunity for exports. So as an economy, we mature towards a developed economy. So in this process, as a whole, we would be having a greater export opportunities. The reason being that as the domestic market matures, we would be actually having the required quality and cost of the products with the benchmark, and we'll have probably a level playing field globally as well. So rightly, the steel policy for the decade to take to the 250 million ton would be a right trigger to give us the required impetus for overall exports. So I would try to sum up with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Murli. Now, moving ahead, I'd like to have Mr. N.K. Sharma, Regional Business Manager from Steel Authority of India Limited, sir.
Good afternoon, friends. Actually, my message is clearly for my MSME friends. My message is MSME friends. It is not working. Hello? Yeah. Okay. My message is clearly for my MSME friends. Right now, India is moving through a golden pitch. What we can say, if you say about the post-COVID era, entire world is looking at India in a different way, in a different manner. Maybe our leadership is helping a lot to achieve that. I will say entire world is looking India as a, you can say it is as a manufacturing hub. They expect a lot from us, and definitely we people will achieve, because government is supporting in a lot many ways. We will definitely achieve all these goals set by government. Coming to, already MSME part, friends have already discussed. I'll go directly to our plan and government's plan regarding our production, steel production in India. If you see steel production in India, last year our crude steel production in India was around 120,000,000 tons. It was a growth, almost 16% growth over previous year. This year we have already achieved, India already achieved I think figure of 114,000,000 ton, 140,000,000 ton, which is again growth of almost 6%, growth of almost 4%, I can say. Okay? And we hope this year will end up with again some growth, 4 to 5% growth in India. Again in sale also we are achieving a growth of almost 5 to 6%. We are targeting a crude steel production of 17 to 18,000,000 ton. Why I am saying all this? Chadha Sahib already told regarding export. Export this year till date, till February end is January end it is 5.9,000,000 ton against 12.3 of previous year, which is a drop of almost 52%. If we say the export, Chadha Sahib said it has definitely impacted our export business, but my MSME friends, somehow this business, this benefit has gone to e-people only. Somehow this, whatever we did, kisi na kisi tarah it has a benefit to MSME friends. Absolutely. Then coming to our target, if we already, Mr. Murli said, target, say government's vision for 3031. What government is seeing in 3031 is a consumption of 230,000,000 ton against present consumption rate of 106. More than 100% hike in consumption. As he said, present rate of consumption, per capita rate of consumption is hardly, it is 76 kg, I think somewhere around 76, 77 kg. It will be go up to 158 level. There are a lot of opportunities are there. If you see the gap, definitely there is a lot of scope. We can do much better in coming days. One more thing I will share here also. The total projected capacity, what government is thinking about 300 million ton steel capacity for 2030. Present capacity is hardly 153. We are increasing, we are going almost twofold in steel production. At least we are targeting, government is targeting a steel production of two times of present level, with a demand projection of 230,000,000 tons. At the same time, if you see the merchandise product, engineering product, what export we are doing at present, going to steel export, generally world is making a steel of around 1,800 million ton. Out of that 1,800 million ton, 700 million ton, roughly around 700 million ton is through export is through steel export is there, which is 45% of total business. Out of that 45%, 25% is merchandise steel business. But India, at present date, if you see India's position, India is roughly doing 5 to 7% of merchandise steel business, not more than that. That gap is very high.
That is a gap.
That gap is very high, 25 to 5. And again, if you see government's plan is making at least twofold by 2030. Then we are increasing the steel capacity. At the same time, government is seeing a better, giving a better opportunity for engineering export, we can say. Then that scope is there, always there, but there are some challenges. Challenges are there in steel business also. Steel business as well, which will primarily affect you people, our MSME friends. If you see, by the carbon emission norms, somebody's already told about carbon emission norms. Definitely government will be more stringent. So far as 2030 is concerned, government is highly lenient. That gives a very nice opportunity till 2030 to our friends to move in and get a good business in steel. Because once these emission norms will be stringent, then cost of production of steel will go up like anything. If you see present norms, world steel norms is somewhere around the CO2 is hardly 1.85 ton against a crude steel production of 1 ton in Europe. In our case, it is 2.6 ton, but our target is by 2030 to be 2.4 ton per 1 ton of crude steel. This is okay. That level will manage with our products, present production facility, what we are having, BF and VOF facilities. With that, we will be able to manage up to 2030. But if you see beyond 2030, if government is enforcing to go to the level of carbon emission level of below 1.8 or 1. Somewhere, or because government's prime target is to achieve 0 by 2070. If you are targeting something below 1.8 or 1.5, it will have a heavy impact on cost of production of steel. Indirectly, that will hit you people also. So, our motto should be target maximum, taking maximum benefit between 2030. That should be the target of MSME. We are there to support. We are supporting in many ways. And you are our partner, you are our, I can say, you are our ears and eyes. Whatever you will say, we are ready to do. The kind of any R&D, as already Amit told, they are doing, Tata is doing a lot of things on the subject. We are ready to collaborate with any MSME player. Any grade you want, anything you want, we are ready to collaborate on that front. And incidentally, government is doing extremely well in all cases, all such cases also. Absolutely. If you see, to have Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme to do so, government is launching that PLI scheme. PLI scheme 1, Madam already told, that is that is a very good response from steel producers in PLI 1 scheme. Government is looking for PLI 2 scheme. At least you people will not go for making special steel. At least you people will not go for buying special steel from outside. You will get everything, at least producers will try. Whatever we can make, we'll try to make and give it to you. Then, regarding sales, some schemes, presently SAIL is offering certain packages to MSME players. One is our Purvodaya scheme. Purvodaya scheme is primarily a scheme for MSME players operating in plant location. SAIL plant location, I mean to say, it is Bokaro, Raulkela, Bhilai, Durgapur, Banpur. There we have a very nice package for all MSME players.
What is this called?
Purvodaya, SAIL Purvodaya scheme. Purvodaya scheme. Purvodaya scheme.
Acha, Purvodaya.
You can say that is the eastern part of India. That's the name is Purvodaya scheme.
Purvodaya.
And we are supporting in a very nice way to all our MSME players. Then that one EPC parity, price parity scheme is already there to support in some way.
How much have you supplied in that?
Sir, whatever requirement is coming, we are trying to accommodate definitely.
We will discuss that offline.
Yes, yes.
I had the EPC panel on that scheme.
Then, so far as Chennai and Tamil Nadu is concerned, we are supplying a lot of PM plates, lot of ESS products, electrical steel in Coimbatore region. I think many pump manufacturers from Coimbatore are here. We have the basket of ESS products and PM plate. That is the prime requirement of, I think, one of the major requirements by MSME players. And right now, SAIL is our demand booking policy is open for next year, for 23-24. We said, I think everyone must be knowing SAIL is having a MO policy where we go for a MO from 1st April to 31st March of next year. That policy is open now. Anybody wants to be a part of, have MO with SAIL, he can download the form from SAIL.in. And
that is a very
time
important
limit is 21st.
information.
Yeah.
Because now it is starting, right? From
Yeah.
1st April.
Yeah, that will be start from 1st April, but they have to apply somewhere between 21st of March. Before 21st of March, they have to submit the
So
form.
in case anyone likes to sign a MOU with SAIL, they can start applying. So now we are opening the house for panel discussion, sir. And Pankajji, you would like to ask question or shall I raise a question?
As far as sale, I just put some pointers to everyone. For sale, what does merchandise export mean? That means basically what? A trader, you want a trader to pay, buy material from you and export? Is that what your intention is? Is that what the gap is that you want to do? Because what is happening is basically in the steel exports, the competition is so high that the export can only be done by the mill. Because one making a bulk booking of a vessel, logistics, other things, I doubt you will have a situation where you will have a trade coming in and doing the export by buying it from you. Because your domestic price is much higher than your international price. We all know that factor. So therefore, if somebody were to buy from you on domestic basis and sell and export, it's day one is not viable. So can you just enlighten us what it is? Then I can tell our EPC members how we can increase the export, basically. My job is basically to increase the export of steel, whether by the steel mills themselves or by traders who can do it.
Sir, sorry to differ, sir. Sir, if you see the present market, our export price is almost 7 to 8% higher than what we are supplying in home sales, what we are giving in home sales. I can say that right now. If you say about the present market.
Then it's enough case for a trader to come in and buy and sell.
No, sir, we are ready to support.
The trade element is not doing it. I'll be surprised. I don't see any in the data. I don't see traders buying from steel plants and exporting.
No, sir, that thing is, sir, we have a. Yes, they are also exporting. Yes.
Oh, they are doing it.
They are doing it already.
See, basically, we have the international price parity scheme. Yeah. We have what we call the EPC, International Price Parity Scheme, where steel is available to you at international prices. And when steel is, and what has happened is basically only 4 products are covered under it: HR, CR, wire rod, and rounds. They are the 4 products which is covered by the International Price Parity Scheme. In which case, the steel makers, if you surrender an ARO to them, they will give you steel at international prices, and you can export either the steel by itself or you can export a product made out of it. So that is the International Price Parity Scheme. But as I said, this just signed about a year back, and that was the basis of that was that the domestic price is higher than the export price. But if the thing has turned other way around, then the International Price Parity Scheme has no value, because if you can buy domestically at a lower price, why would you want to buy at export price?
No, so I would say as long as if the scheme is running on a sustained manner, then there would be knowing, there's so many ups and downs in steel prices, and international as well as domestic. So I think if somebody is focused on, using this parity scheme, they can always, in those times when international prices are actually lower side, so they can use the scheme. In fact, just to answer your question, when you ask what you have been on the panel and you probably are disappointed, then I think we as Tata Steel, while our overall quantity might not be very higher, but 10,500 in this financial year so far we have supplied. 10,500 on almost to 12 numbers of customers.
Sir, from sales side, I can say one thing, कि whatever booking has come under EPC scheme, we have honored. We have never denied any, nobody can say कि we have denied any supplies. And 4 products are covered. 5th product is the prime product is PM plate. If you see the price of PM plate is always available at a lower price from sale in Indian market comparing with any international market. If you see those, sir, the pricing of PM plate, whatever happening in India, if you see the European price is almost $800 plus. And presently we are exporting PM plate more than that price. And Indian price is much lower comparing with that price. I can say that. I can share that view also.
I know 4 products, so I didn't know the 5th product. We'll take it up.
So, coming on to Mr. Murli, I like to raise one question. After me, you can ask. So, now since we all understand that ArcelorMittal is doing a lot of R&D and you're increasing your product baskets also, so going ahead, what are your plans to increase engineering exports, or maybe any plan to come into specialty steel?
Yeah. So, in public domain, there is already news that ArcelorMittal is investing close to about 60,000 crores in a brownfield expansion at Hazira, Surat. And we are doubling our capacity from current 7.5 million to 15 million ton. And in that particular expansion, we are addressing a lot of product range, which is currently either largely imported or still the current mills need to get up to that product range. Okay, specifically addressing the automotive side and also some of the defense applications and specialty coated steels. So this particular product range would be actually available maybe in the next 2-3 years horizon, and this would actually tremendously benefit industries who would be doing engineering products and probably focusing for exports. So it could be tier 1 auto component manufacturers, or even some of the R&D technology based products. So all of it. So we would probably trying to bring a level playing field here, that there would not be a need for actually doing any specialty products imports owing for quality or availability.
The house is open for the Q&A. I would request you to introduce yourself, your name, company name, and the very precise question you like to ask the panelist. You can take my mic.
Good afternoon. I am Ishwar Bhatt from BEML Limited. I got a question to all the 3 steel manufacturing companies like Tata Steel, SAIL and ArcelorMittal. The discussions in the panel was going on into enhancing the business rather than the title. The enhancing the steel and engineering exports from India, making India for the world. I think that's the point that was not noticed in the discussion. Other than that, enhancing the business of the companies were discussed. We are buying steel from all the 3. As our EECP chairman expressed, the price of steel last year, it has enhanced in such a way that we could not try for making any engineering product and export. That scope was completely not there. Then government has intervened and did something so that steel companies can do some check on their price, so that in India, the Indian companies not only getting the steel and also not getting the right price. Both were not there. So that has hit the topic of this today's main subject. It has not fulfilled last year. So government has intervened and did certain things so that this will come along within the line of the business of what today's topic is. Number 2, is, engineering exports means, as far as BEML is concerned, we are making a product using the steel and trying to export. To help this, to support this only, either government or steel companies what are there in India should work on that, because last year steel companies have made profit 48%. So I am not telling that it is wrong, but it is only when opportunity is there, we'll make money. When steel companies are not doing so well, nobody will pity on them. That's why they wanted to earn whatever money possible in the opportunity given to them because of the global scenario. So, one more, madam, one more.
Sir, what is your question? Tell me, I'll answer from EPC point of view.
No,
They will not answer because naturally steel is a decontrolled item.
Okay.
I was one of the people who went to the Ministry of Steel and the Ministry of Commerce and said, they are making too much of money, you must do something about it. I mean, there was no question on that point.
Okay,
but
sir.
after all, being a decontrolled item, the minister said, they are free to choose the price, you are free to buy if you can afford it or not.
Okay,
This was exactly the point. But the question is, what is your specific point? Let me, I'll answer your question.
Now
They won't answer it. I'll answer it.
Sir, only one question I have got, specific to BML Limited. We are using steel from British Steel and Metal One Steel for our track shoe profiles, what is used on bulldozer undercarriage chains. That is having some ingredient like boron and molybdenum, and also I think some portion of nickel, which is manganese also. It is a work hardening steel, hardened to the extent of I think 40 HRC or so after quenching and temper operation. This is supplied in terms of a big roll, big length of the profile. It requires certain amount of investment in India, but it has got a large demand world over. If you focus only on Indian companies, Indian demand, it will be around BML plus other 800, maybe 2,000 tons. It may be very, very small for you. But this product is having very much demand world over, like Korea and Japan, and also in Europe and the Arabian countries. So I request the steel companies to invest on this and support our Make in India product, because in India nobody is making this. It is not the question of knowledge, technical knowledge, everything is there. Maybe hesitation to invest because of the profit, which will come or not, that risk is there. But I request the panel.
I'll answer your question.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you. What you're looking for is an item with a potential of 2,400 tons and possibly export product potential of 5,000 tons. Let's say, I'll assume double the thing,
Yes.
right?
Not double, 10 times.
Okay. Let's, on a pragmatic basis, right? Now, Tata Steel, as you know, these are all million-tonner plants. AMS, as you said, they are going to do 15 million tons. They must be already at 15. Sale is at 12.8. So what your item is a specialty steel item, right? Which is to be done by a specialty steel maker. Your best bet is Gardao or Arjas. They are the people who are actually doing it. Frankly speaking, I would suggest for BML, Gardao is, I'm sorry, I used the old word. Arjas is the best bet. Arjas is the best bet. You talk to them, and I'm sure if they are not able to do it, you please write to me. I will definitely find you a manufacturer who will invest money for this. What are you looking for? 16 mm CR5 or what are you looking for? 4340 I think is what you're looking at. Nickel moly 4340 is looking at. You're looking at 4340.
I will share the
4340 in long products is available at Arjas.
I will share the
Arjas is having it. But on a flat roll product, I think definitely somebody can make
flat,
it.
It's some sort of profile is there, grouser they call it.
Yeah. Please share it with Arjas. They are the best bet in this business.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else like to make a point or raise a question? Yeah. Please introduce yourself and very specific question, please.
Hello. Yeah, this is Dayanand Reddy from SA. Last couple of years, the prices, I'm coming back to the same thing maybe, the prices actually went up by 60-70%. And also the international prices went up the same way. But now the international prices are dropping significantly, but Indian prices are not. So what is the reason? Because we are becoming more incompetitive in the last few months. So can you just be a little, can you explain on this?
Sir, presently steel prices, international prices are on a much higher side. And input cost of steel, as madam is pointing there, coking coal prices has gone up. The present level is somewhere around $380 per ton. We take 1 ton of coking coal for making 1 ton of crude steel. My friend from BML asking about last year queries. Last year coking coal prices during February, March was at $700. We are selling steel at almost at same price. 100. If you see the coking input cost price, steel pricing is totally dependent upon the input cost price, primarily coking coal, to some extent on iron ore. We may feel it is iron ore is basically fluctuating the price. No, it is coking coal who is the prime culprit in increasing or decreasing the price of steel. Whenever you will see there is an increase in coking coal price, then you will see the price of steel going up. Sir, BCCL is not able to provide coking coal.
So even BCCL coal is going for power generation nowadays. That is happening, and entire steel making, more than 90% of the coal is imported. So steel making cost majorly driven by the imported coking coal prices, which are coming from Australia and South Africa. And I believe profit is not a negative term, even if you are making a 50% profit or 100% or even 2%. We should be proud of it that we have made a profit. But then, having said that, everybody deserves to make a profit. If you do not make a profit, how will you grow it? How will you hire people? How will you...
And one important factor which has to be also considered, like I think as sir also pointed out, it's a completely decontrolled. There is absolutely no control. Totally competitive market. There is absolutely no one guiding ki this is what you have to do. And third component, what he said, he was a coking coal price, which ma'am has clarified. So we, for steel making, for serving your requirement, the kind of specialty steels you're talking about, or anybody for that matter, we have to import, and there is almost 1:1, correlation. So those kind of things are there, which are eventually contributing to. And last but not the least, for capacity creation, you can just imagine almost the amount of capital infusion is required. So that is almost, you are aware of that. So when steel companies are which are significantly driven by headwinds, which many of those may not be in our control, then if we are making profits, so it is for you only, I think.
So they are working on coal gasification and hydrogen on that. Yes.
Otherwise, as a overall, we have to think as a holistic view of that. Otherwise, we are importing this and adding value and again exporting. This type of circus will not help to the real cost of the Atmanirbharta.
The government has initiated several policies for hydrogen, green hydrogen, coal gasification, which now the companies have started to explore and investing already. So it will take some time, maybe 5 years or 10 years, but eventually it will happen, and you will see the prices will, set to go low, and you will be able to buy more and more steel. But I believe, also I'm adding one more point, that Tata Steel, JSW, AMNS, and many other big players who are making steel from iron ore or coal, the virgin material, they have initiated several programs for MSME. From last 1.5 years, in fact, they have initiated several programs where you can participate with them, and a lot of credit facilities also they are providing to the MSMEs. Because I'm telling you by experience, We had a one program in Pune last year in December, Steel Service Center, where we had Tata Capital participated, and they mentioned their Tata Capital, we all know about that. They informed that they have come out with a lot of credit facilitation for the MSME sector. So you can definitely explore all the possibilities and all kind of options when it comes to credit systems or having MOUs or tie-up with steel companies.
So that is what I mentioned in my talk.
Yeah.
When you said it was the Urja scheme which I spoke to you about. So that is basically a credit facility which Tata Steel is providing to. And last year, when we are speaking about last year,
When we are speaking about last year, I think you forgot, I think we ran something on MSME preferential pricing scheme also, for which, Tata Steel, at least I am aware of, we almost, the cumulative price advantage which was given by Tata Steel specific to MSME was in excess of rupees 50 crores. So that is the amount of, discounting we did, particularly for MSME segment.
Sir, just 1 second. Sir, you may be right in saying that the export prices are still higher than Indian prices, but the gap has definitely narrowed down. We being a manufacturers or like engineering components, so our input material percentage is anywhere close to like 50 to 60%. So that's where the chunk of our input cost is. So when that margin gets shrinked, we will be forced to see in other segment like reducing our cost, which is not possible because all others are also raising up, which is significant as high as 20-30%. In fact, we might not be able to be compensated for that also. So the prices falling down in international market is not same as what is falling in Indian market after the rise. That is what my point is. Yes, it has increased significantly when with the international market, the falling is not in the same way. So that's where the difference is coming from. So is that something that you can support us?
Maybe we can have one or more questions and then we can close the session. Anyone else like to raise any question? Raise any question? So, can I have
I have one question. How does the CBAM tax affect Indian steel companies? Because that's a cause of concern which we have flagged to the EU free FTA negotiator also. Because we feel that the CBAM tax that EU is planning to get effective from 1st of October may have a very negative impact on Indian steel. So what is anybody's view on this?
Yes, sir. When it comes to FTAs, specifically, maybe Europe could be a different story, but whatever FTAs which we have, specifically with Korea and Japan.
That's a lost situation.
Correct. So maybe if future FTAs, if I'm not sure if any more in the Asian region is being considered, but if there is any, then probably steel probably should be kept out of the domain if that's an option.
I'm talking what is the impact of CBAM? How do you want us EPC to take up the CBAM issue? Because CBAM tax is coming in from 1st of October, and what will happen is you will because of the higher carbon emission, Indian steel will have to pay a tax of maybe 200 euros, 300 euros a ton, making us uncompetitive. So what is the views on that? We must formulate something and put to the government. Otherwise, what will happen? The tax will come on first.
Yeah, agree.
And then you all will then coming around to EPC. I want you all to give us feedback and how do we argue it out?
So please, everyone, after the program, please, sir, if you do not speak on mic, it will not come on to YouTube. So everyone, after the program, please write it to EPC, to Mr. Pankaj Chadda, about your experience and what are your expectations when we talk about engineering exports, and the points are very well taken. And if you do not know much about EPC, but EPC is a nodal body of Ministry of Commerce, and they will definitely take it ahead, your feedbacks, and will come out with wonderful solutions. So with this, I would like to invite Mr. Sachin Malani, Deputy Regional Chairman, Southern Region EPC India, to give a thank you address.
Mr. Pankaj Chadha, Senior Vice Chairman, EPC India, Ms. Monica Bachchan, CEO and Founder, Metalogic, Mr. Bhargav from Arjas Steel, Mr. Amit Kumar Singh, Chief Sales Manager, Branded Products, Tata Steels, Mr. Sri Murali Krishna, General Manager and Regional Sales Head, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel Limited, and Mr. N.K. Sharma from SAIL India Limited. And all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a privilege and great joy for me to extend a vote of thanks to all those who have joined us. It has been a very informative and interactive session with a lot of discussions going on between all the concerned parties. We had people from the big companies, and then we had audience also interacting. So it was a very good session. And we got a lot of points on how engineering exports from India, make in India for the world, can be taken up further with the contribution from these steel companies. The panel discussion was very interesting, and some of the points which have come out have been very pertinent. As we know that steel is the backbone for the engineering manufacturer sector, and we have got all the stats being said before us. So we know that how major role does steel play in this engineering sector. So it is very important for us to understand what's happening on this front and what's the recent trend, scenarios and developments which are happening in the sector. I take this opportunity to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our distinguished dignitaries for the cooperation to make this session happen, and all the concerned competent person from the manufacturing companies to come and share their ideas with us. Also, I would like to convey my special thanks to Ms. Monica Bachchan for anchoring and mentoring the program. It has been really very helpful, and we have come to a lot of new things, like he mentioned about Tata Steel coming up with so many facilities for MSMEs, and what SAIL is doing and what ArcelorMittal is planning. So we came to know a lot of things, what Arjas does. So it has been a very informative session. I express my sincere gratitude to all the delegates and other participants who have graced the occasion today and have helped us making in this forum a great success. Many thanks to all our partners. Needless to say, without their support, this wouldn't have been possible. Last but not the least, thanks to the members of the media for their presence here. You have always been a pillar of support and strength in all the activities we do, and EPC really appreciates all your support always. With these words, may I now propose a hearty vote of thanks and a round of applause for everyone who has participated here. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ms. Monica Bachchan. Yeah.
So we can have the mementos now. So I would request Mr. Pankaj Chadha to please hand over the token of memento to Mr. Amit Kumar Singh. So aage aa jaiye, please. Please come ahead. CSM Branded Product, Tata Steel Limited. I would now request Mr. Chadha to please hand over memento to Mr. Murali Krishnan, Regional Sales Head South, AMNS India. I would like to request Mr. Sachin Malani now to please hand over the memento to Mr. Gandhi KSS Bhargav, AGM Sales Export Arjas Steel. Mr. Sachin, please hand over the memento to Mr. N.K. Sharma, Regional Business Manager, Steel Authority of India Limited.
Thank you, Monica. So it has been a great pleasure, and we are definitely delighted by the presence of the esteemed panelists who were among here. And last but not the least, a special thanks to Ms. Monica Bachchan, CEO of Metalogic, who has anchored, curated, and in fact, she has done the program from the very scratch. So a very special thanks to her. I would like request Mr. Pankaj Chadha to hand over a memento to her as a token of appreciation. And I request the audience for a big round of applause to all the panelists. And I hope to see all the panelists and Ms. Monica in the next edition of ISS as well. Thank you.
Everyone, let's have a group photograph. Please come ahead. Please come ahead. Pallavi ji, aap bhi please आइए. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a very, enlightening session and happening session, I would say. You have a pen drive?